It's quelled a little bit, but bed bugs. You know, bed bugs in the past 10 years have been the number one thing. My first 25 years in the industry, it was nothing more than a nursery rhyme that I heard, don't let the bed bugs bite. Well, boy, are they here now. You know, and that comes into a lot of issues with that. A lot of people spraying a lot of pesticides for bed bugs. And unfortunately, a lot of people are doing the most damage in their own homes because sadly, bed bug control is very expensive. To bring a professional in to take care of it is expensive. And it just breaks my heart when I think about all the people out there that can't afford that and spraying, you know, all over their mattresses and things. And the sad part is they're not going to eliminate their problem, and they're exposing themselves and their family unnecessarily to a lot of products. There's a lot of great tools out there that are so simplistic that you think, wow, you know, why didn't I just think of that? And we're starting to use those tools more in our industry. If I go into a room that has a bad bed bug problem, and I don't know if any of you have seen it before, it happens in the best of homes. It doesn't matter what your income level is. If you bring bed bugs in your home, you bring them in your home. And but one of the best tools in a bad situation is vacuums. You know, in our industry, we have pest-specific vacuums called the Little Hummer. Goes on your back, you know, kind of looks like something out of Ghostbusters. But, you know, rather than soaking everything down when you can see these cockroaches or these bed bugs, we can come up and try to vacuum up the lion's share of them. So if you hit them with steam, you can take care of them that way. So cracks and crevices, you know, in the cushions of your couch, you know, up in the tight corners and things, steam works well. Another good thing for bed bugs is heat. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that, but bed bugs and most insects are very sensitive to temperature. Once it gets about above 111 degrees, they start getting real uncomfortable. And once it gets to about 130 degrees, it's very lethal. And it'll even kill the egg and larva stages. So that's one of the things you'll see now more and more, especially in multi-unit housing, hotels, motels. When you're at the hotel and you think they're drying the carpet in that room down the hall, maybe they are. Maybe the last guest in there left some bed bugs in there. And they're heating it up. And you know what? And it's not the hotel or motels, it's not their fault. They're introduced. Someone brought them in there. And may not even know they had them yet. Could have stayed at another hotel somewhere and brought them. So college kids in dormitories, real famous for fighting bed bugs. And then they come home. So we start learning patterns like that. I don't know how I got bed bugs, but you know, right after my son was down for spring break, there you go. You know, you see patterns with it. But things like heat and steam work very, very well. Fumigation on single family homes. You know, there's not a better mousetrap. People still to this day, and people hate to see the big, look like the circus tents over your house. But the fact is, when we were talking about South Florida again, that we get drywood termites down here that are pretty unique to Florida, Hawaii, and California, particularly the South Florida. And there's still no better method of dealing with those than tent fumigation. And I will say one thing about the Vicane. Some of the schools you see we have to fumigate them, and Vicane's been around for 50 years, sulfuryl fluoride, and it's got an excellent track record. So where it may seem a little bit extreme when you see the tents go up, nothing can beat it. And on a single family home that's really infested with bed bugs, it's still the best method of doing that also. And it doesn't matter how much clutter there is. Clutter is your worst enemy when you're dealing with things like bed bugs, because they get so deeply and under things, and you certainly can't just spray pesticides of it, and the heat may not even penetrate it, which is often the case, but a fumigant will. So it's a case of evaluating the situation, you know, what's there, what am I dealing with, what's causing the problem, are they being reintroduced, you know, and there's places where the bed bugs, unfortunately, have gotten, they're reservoired. And unfortunately, it's in a lot of people in low income that can't afford to pay for a professional treatment. And where they may work, they may be taking them in to work with them. I mean, it's just something that happens. Not their fault. You can bet they don't want bed bugs, but they just can't afford to have a professional come in and do it. And the bed bugs, we've gotten a little bit better. We're starting to get them under control a little bit, but in some of the Northeast states, and it's funny how the pockets of them are particularly bad, where they've gotten into workplaces, they're into office buildings, they're not just in residences, because they'll adapt and they move where people are going to be. They're in subways, they're in movie theaters, gym lockers. I don't know if any of you in facilities here at schools have run into that. But the kids bring them from home in their book bags and stuff and put it in their locker, things like that. Think about the overhead bins of airlines. That's another problem that can be with bed bugs. So we had a major carrier contact us a few years back about a problem like that. So, things happen and things get introduced constantly. And when you're dealing with a facility like a school or something, every day these kids are coming in, they can be inadvertently bringing cockroaches, bed bugs, and other things, into the structure. And the same with adult living facilities. So it's an ongoing battle, and it really comes down to monitoring, trying to do the preventative things with sanitation, structural modifications to help things from coming in. And then when you do have to apply pesticides, finding the safest products to use and avoiding exposure. That's really what it's all about anymore. And that's what's so nice with crack and crevice baiting and containerized baiting, is you can solve a problem and then take that container out of there and just throw it away. And we don't have any exposure to any of the, any of the students or any of the inhabitants if it's any kind of a facility.